Alright, hopefully we're live now. Hopefully nothing bad has gone. And it seems like we're live. Hopefully. Okay, well. It seems like we're up. So, yeah. Decklist stream for this month's MSEM GP. Do you want to go over the balance patches for this month? Because there's some pretty exciting stuff happening, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Villainy got banned.
There's lots of reactions to that change. I think most of them are positive.
A good card for a while.
Yeah. Format search.
I'm surprised they banned it.
I mean, I'm surprised it lasted for so long. But yes, I'm also surprised that they banned it. But in case you don't know what this card does, because it's been terrorizing the format before I even joined. Yeah, villainy is no more. The villain is dead. Villainy doesn't pay off. What other jokes can you make about this? But so if you want to play villainy, you have to like generate it in a codex, right? Because there's still like versatility that.
Yeah, that thing.
Which is like something that's pretty. How do you spell versatility? It's versatility.
I think it's just phonetically spelled.
Okay, yeah, versatility. So if you want to play villainy, you have to play versatility, which generates it, and then. I mean, wait, is this even that bad? Like, because versatility makes all your spells trigger everything, right? It could be a funny deck, I guess. Anyways, yeah, so villainy is dead, which is definitely something. So the deck that beat me last GP is, I mean, the face card of the deck that beat me last GP is now banned, but the face card of my deck is also heavily nerfed. Zerat, I don't think Zerat's playable anymore. Like, why did this thing also have to catch a mana nerf in addition to all the other nerfs it got? Like, I don't think they needed to nerf this to 6 mana. I'm pretty sure this thing is fair at 5 because it no longer pluses to put a guy on board. But I guess they just want to make doubly sure that this thing's dead and buried, because I don't think this card's ever going to see play again.
Yeah, since they didn't manage that last time at all.
Well, last time they just tweaked some loyalty numbers. Like this time they actually changed. Oh, the change lock doesn't even say what the old ability does, or does it? Nick House opponents would change. Okay, I guess it does sort of say what the old version did. But yeah, those are two major changes. Henley.
Also, shredded memory.
Oh yeah, shredded memory.
That was in a bunch of decks last GP.
I think it got overplayed, honestly. Like none of the shredded memories decks managed to perform that well. Maybe they got unlucky, or maybe it's just like not actually that good. But the nerf is more of a rules change than anything else, right?
Yeah.
Basically, if you have a card that says choose both, and you try to stick one shredded memories mode onto it, you can't get the bonus mode for free. It's still choose both means choose two. And there were some number of decks in the previous GP that were trying to abuse like something. I forgot what that card was called. It had Wanderlust, right?
Archaeological experience.
Introspective Crossroads. They were trying to abuse it with that. I was like not very high on it during the Decklist stream. I'm not sure how it performed because I didn't see any of them in action because they all got knocked out. But I mean, you can still use this thing with like Pact of the Moon. You just have to use this thing to get rid of the fatigue modes. There's like a cycle of these cards in MSC, and then there's like a cycle of them in the original set that introduced the fatigues. So maybe you can do something there. What Skursek Edict no longer hits. Oh yeah.
That I think is pretty nice.
Yeah, so Scourge's Dag Edict. That thing no longer hits enchantments, which is nice because now you don't like now if you're playing burn, you don't lose ability because you can actually board into auxiliary impressions and you don't get they don't have main deck enchantment removal anymore.
Yeah, and I like that it makes black be worse than other colors at hitting enchantments in a bigger way.
Oh yeah, by the way, in League I ran into a black deck that was running was it sacrifice like they were playing the version that didn't have flashback. What's that guy called again? Reject Revision. Yeah, I ran into Reject Vision in League, so I guess the black decks have decided to move on to that thing, which is the same card as before, but doesn't have flashback, so maybe it's not as good, which would be good for me. And then some other stuff. Yeah. Do you really want to go over all the changes, or do you
I
just
mean,
want?
I think there's, I guess there are only a couple left.
I mean, okay, Chefscape lands.
That are nerfs.
Chefscape lands. They
Curse of Night Bear is
okay.
just like replace Edict in Limited or something.
Yeah, that's just limited change. Yeah, so these Chefscape lands now exile themselves, which means that so that kills one of the decks that was in. It kills the analyst deck that was in last GP, and it also it kills a lot of the. Because previously I was trying to like build. There was some pretty tricky things you can do with these guys going to the graveyard. Or at least they basically function as fetches in that they also bend their lands that bend themselves, and there's lots of things in the format that you can take advantage of if you have a land that bends itself. And having these shipscape means that you don't have to rely completely on fetches for those sorts of things. But now that they exile themselves, you have to, like, if you want to have lands that bend themselves, you have to use fetches, which could be a problem if you're like running a deck that brings these guys back a bunch of times. Because if you bring back fetches a bunch of times, then you run out of fetchables eventually.
Yeah.
And Hemley Egg Feather, I don't know. Hemley like I don't know why that got changed, but or I mean I know why it got changed because the -2 was really annoying, but I'm pretty happy that it got changed because yeah, the -2 was really annoying.
I like Hemley.
Did you? But yeah, sure, but like it was a 2-mana sorcery speed.
Yeah.
Basically destroy target permanent or no, just deal with target non-land permanent in a really annoying way. Which is probably worse than destroying it because, I mean, I guess it depends on whether binning that or sticking that thing into your library is a good thing or a bad thing, or sticking it into it second from the top. But now I got nerfed, it's no longer as annoying. Anyways, those were all the changes. So basically, the GP winner of last GP got one of its cards banned and one of its cards nerfed. Although the Edict nerf is more of a like restore or the deck isn't like noticeably worse. It just has more weak points that can be exploited. And meanwhile, Zerat getting nerfed means that I'm no longer on the Zerat deck anymore. This GP. I'm pretty sure the Zergtide Xerox blue red Xerox Chow still has potential, but I didn't want to, or I was too lazy to figure out a new way to build it, so I'm not running it this GP, but maybe I'll go back to tinkering with that shell later. Anyways, yeah, we should probably start talking about decks, right? Right, Sky? Do I need to? I'm going to reconnect right now just to make sure nothing's broken. All right, are you still there? Okay, I think Scargo might be. Oh yeah, they might be AFK. Alright. Right, since they're not here, I guess I'll have to go on my own for now. So, anyways, I guess we should just start. Yeah, I'm not very charismatic on my own though, so I'm not sure how well I'm going to do. We do have 6 concurrent viewers, which is a lot more than I was expecting this late at night. How much do the Decklist streams get? Like, I'm pretty sure Rev Decklist streams get way more viewers, or way more concurrent viewers because actually it's because those guys are better at like talking and stuff. Oh, okay. Well, is Scarlet not going to come back? Okay, well, in that case, I guess I'll just have to go on my own for now. Yeah. So, oh, okay, Scar, you're up again. Good.
Yeah, sorry, something's going on with my Wi-Fi. I've switched to hotspot for now. Looks like the Wi-Fi might be back anyway.
That's unfortunate. Well, anyways, so we're going to start talking about the first deck in the list, which is Cyber's deck. They're playing Cell-Type Control, right?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a deck that runs Rot.
Yep.
It's a Rot deck.
Only 2 Rot.
Oh, they're playing Epic. Oh, it's Epic Encounter.
Ah.
So it's Epic Encounter Control, and with Epic Encounter, there you have a lot of things they can grab. Or actually, do they have that much they can grab? They only have Salome as their. I guess Epic Encounter is mostly just grabbing Salome here, which is a pretty good finisher.
Elmazar.
What does that thing do again? It's like Desert. Okay, so it's like Desert Credo or something. They have 1 Elmazar in the board and 1 Elmazar in the main deck. Wait, how many deserts are they running? Oh, wait, they're running a desert. They're running a desert mana base.
They don't have any 3 drops, I noticed, which seems a bit weird to me.
Do they have Intrepid? What? No, they have
not on their sideboard though. I guess I meant for Epic Encounter.
I mean, you I don't think this deck's meant to curve Epic Encounter into a 3-drop. If you're doing that, you'd rather just play one of your interactions on 2, and then save Epic Encounter for grabbing your finisher. I mean that's not bad.
That makes sense.
That's not a bad plan. Sesa Tremond is a really annoying card to deal with. Like it doesn't see that much play, but this card's actually really good. Basically, when it enters, you get to Demonic Tutor from your own deck, and then you also get to steal something from your opponent's deck. And it also has Death Touch, so it's annoying to attack past. Simo, I guess, yeah, extra copy in the sideboard to grab your epic encounter. And then, actually, Salvation Engine is quite spicy. I assume it's just there so that you can grab a finisher.
Yeah, like if you're flooding out.
Is that really the best finisher you can stick in your sideboard? I mean, I guess
no. It's like you're probably not able to activate it immediately, and like if you can't do that, and your opponent has an artifact removal spell, it's really bad.
Well, I mean, I don't think you're fetching this until you've like got the game on lock.
Yeah.
And then I guess it gives you something to sink all your Elmazar mana into.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. Otherwise, it's just a bunch of removal and stuff. No, they only have 2 mainboard Celestial Banishments. And none the sideboard. Okay, well, no, 2 copies is fine. Just the fact that you have Celestial Banishment in your deck at all forces the opponent to play around it, which is really annoying to do. Usually when I play against a Celestial Banishment deck, I just don't bother playing around it because I can never figure out how to play around it. Or I mean, I guess I sometimes play around it if it doesn't cost me anything to do so, but when it comes to like you have trying to decide what plays to make to play around this thing, then I just don't bother. Yeah, but yeah. So are you filling out the? Yeah, you're filling out the spreadsheet. What do you mean call this? Saltite deserts, Saltite control,
I was just thinking like
Saltite
dungeon
epic
control.
encounter. It's like a mix of all of those.
Right. 4 chili peppers.
Yeah, I mean they have some pretty spicy cards, but I usually don't like these sorts of decks that much. But yeah, sure. 4 chili peppers. You got Salvation Engine. You got Desert Mana Base. You got Epic Encounter. Like you got 3 different packages in here, or 2 different packages. Plus, you have 2 different packages stuck into a control deck. Sure, you can have 4 chili peppers. And I mean, you're playing Tweak the Settings, which nobody ever runs. But it probably is decent if you have a bunch of mana. Like this thing probably just kills opponent if you have a bunch of mana. But yeah. So moving on. Nyx is not on Villainy anymore because it got banned. And instead they're on Pod Watcher.
Oh, nice. That's always cool deck.
Yeah, so anything new? Oh, they have Ovenwald Ranger now. It's a 2-drop, 2-mana 2/2 when it enters Surveil 2. And then if it's attacking, you can pay 2 to turn into a 4/4 with a bunch of upside. Wait, this card's this card's really good. It sees like no play, but I'm pretty sure it's really good. But it just sees no play because not enough people are playing this format, so sometimes good cards just get looked over. Other than that, they got oh yeah, I guess Magby Volturi is a pretty good pickup for the deck.
Yeah.
And then they only run a single copy of Godwatcher to fetch out, I guess. They got 1 Commanding Princess as a tutor target. They got Dark Behemoth. So the combo here is that you get 2 Dark Behemoths, and then one of these. So you get Channeler of the Veil plus 2 Dark Behemoth, and then the 2 Dark Behemoths loop with each other, so you just drain your opponent out.
Yeah.
And then the rest of the deck is just built to like fetch these fetch the combo pieces while acting as a hate bears deck in general.
Yeah.
Selective reading.
Seems like a lot of the time you're probably able to win with the fair plan.
I think this version doesn't win with the fair plan as much, right? Like, because I know the version that won with the fair plan had that 5-drop that gave your entire board a bunch of buffs. And it got nerfed
like
out.
Henry and Ovenwald Ranger.
Actually, yeah, I guess Ovenwald Ranger's attack against a 4/4 is probably enough to win the game on its own.
Like, I don't think you're putting those in your deck if you don't want to win fairly.
Well, I mean, you're playing in Henry because it's a hate bear, and this deck is a hate bear deck that has a combo finish. So the hate bear is just there to slow down your opponent while you're digging for the combo. Or I mean, yeah, or for the fair plan or whatever. And you're running 4 selective, 2 lurk. Is that the usual split these decks run, or do they usually run 4 of each?
I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't checked what this deck looks like either, so no idea. But yeah, it's also running only 2 Ancestral Council. Interesting. But yeah, Ancestral Council means you can pull out you can pull out your selective readings and lurks, and then which lets you grab Godwatcher. Actually, do you just instantly win if you can get into Godwatcher? Like, what's the combo here? So you Godwatcher. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to put Dark Behemoth under the Godwatcher. You find some way to sack it, whether it's through an Well, I mean, if Chandler's already on board, then yeah, you already have one of the pieces. But if you don't, then I guess you're supposed to breeding this God Watcher. If you're breeding the God Watcher, you can fetch out the Chandler, and then the Dark Behemoth comes down. Chandler sack the Dark Behemoth, reanimate God Watcher. God Watcher fetches the other Dark Behemoth. Chandler. Okay, yeah, I see. So if you can get God Watcher down, and then selected breeding it, then you just insta win.
Yeah.
Actually, lurk. I don't think lurk helps here, right? Lurk requires you to have one more, so you can't actually lurk your God Watcher into anything in this deck. I don't think. You don't have any 5-drops. And then in the sideboard, you're just playing a bunch of tutor targets because you can, because you're playing like because you're playing all these selective breedings.
And some redundancy for your combo piece.
Yeah, in case your opponent is playing actually, yeah, if you mill your opponent's combo pieces in game 1, I don't think they actually have a way to get them back.
Or what if their Mogbury Votary mills?
Oh, wait, right. Magri Beltry can get them back. Okay, yeah, I see.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, this deck is actually a lot more resilient now that it has Volturi. And, what, Paragon of Honor. Interesting. I'm assuming Swineherd. So they got, like, pretty good Grave Hate. They got an attack. They got anti-burn. They got Anointed Curse Breakers. Curse Breakers are quite annoying because, or at least for me, because they can actually hit my 1-man ramp when most decks can't. And in the mana base, they're playing normal bustling marketplace, the human tribal land mana base. They're playing the good. They're using the good art for Nebula, so I'll give them points for that. But yeah, I guess I will give this 5 chili peppers because I mean.
Yeah, me too.
Podwatcher.
Podwatcher.
It's been a while since seeing Podwatcher, and there is a lot of innovation here. If is Nick's like in the chat or something or watching this right now? I'm just wondering, like, if you have What Lurks Beyond plus Godwatcher, does that still work? Or because you can't lurk Godwatcher into anything because you don't have any 5-drops, right? So I'm wondering if the deck wants to play just some random 5-drop that lets you combo off with Godwatcher. But anyways, moving on. Gargora, you're playing the same deck as last time. Any changes?
No.
Cool. Do you want to just move on then? Or do you want to describe what the deck does again?
Yes, I can try to go through it. Basically, it's sort of a storm-adjacent deck that's built around blinking creatures that add mana when they enter the battlefield, and it's 100 cards, so you can use Unrivaled Fireweaver to wish for things without paying 4 mana. A lot of different things it can do, and sometimes just win with combat as well.
Yeah.
Like things that care about mana cost. Weird deck.
Okay, I'll give you 5 chili peppers and move on. Because, I mean, I'll get bored of this deck eventually, but is that what I usually say this every time I run into a deck that's 2 GPs in a row. And usually people don't play a deck enough times for me to get bored of it. Or I don't think people ever play decks enough times in a row to get bored for me to get bored of it. Anyways, I'll just reconnect right now just to make sure that. All right, hopefully that fixes stuff. It's going to be pretty sad if once we're done streaming, I realize that disconnecting doesn't actually fix the static problem. All right, moving on. Epid is playing Mono Black Demons, which is with 4 Auric Soul Weavers. because after villainy got banned, Auric Weaver is now the new villainy. Auric Weaver is actually more annoying than villainy against certain decks because it's incidental grave hate, and some decks just don't like being hit with incidental grave hate.
Yeah.
And also, it's the -1/-1 counters are annoying because, like, with villainy just dealing flat damage, sometimes if your guys are big enough, it just doesn't die to villainy, so you feel pretty safe. But since this thing puts counters, sometimes, like, even if your guy's pretty big, it still debuffs them. So it's still really annoying because your big guy isn't safe from this guy. I'm mostly talking about 5 toughness things because, like, when you're playing as villainy, usually they can't kill 5 toughness things that with villainy because that requires 3 villainy pains. But this guy can just shrink your 5 toughness guy over time until it, I mean, they only have to shrink it twice before it can no longer block this thing. But yeah, the rest of the deck is just, I mean, it's just a solid mono black mid range deck with that plays Profane Emissary. Actually, I mean, mono black mid range was a thing at the same time as villainy, right? And sometimes
I think villainy sort of became the new mono black thing at some point. Or not new, but the main one people are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, this seems more like the old list aside from, I think Mind's Contagion is a new addition. I'm remembering correctly.
It's not that new. I've seen this Mind's Contagion in mono black demons before. Okay, Spiraling Hatred is the actual new addition. So with Spiraling Hatred, it means that mono black mid range now actually has cheap removal, whereas previously it didn't actually have that much good cheap removal, right?
Yeah.
So it was mostly just jostling on board and hoping to hand attack your opponent's stuff. But now that it has cheap removal, like, there's another angle where you can't just like hope to stick your 3 drops. Actually, you can't hope to stick your 2 drops anymore.
Yeah.
And then it's running 4 Under Pressure. It's discard instead of pay up. Under Pressure is a new 1-mana discard spell that has the drawback of giving your opponent Omen, which lets him loot 1 later in the game, or I guess rummage 1. And that drawback actually matters a lot because I played against this card in League before. Like, sometimes they Under Pressure you turn 1, you get the Omen, and then, like, 5 turns down the line, you crack the Omen to at least 5 turns down the line, both players are top decking, and then you crack the Omen to discard a land that you top decked and draw into an actual card, and that actually flips the game. Like, the Omen is actually a real drawback if the game goes long. Or actually, not even if the game goes long. If your opponent just has a bad card in hand, they can just crack the Omen to get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
that seems like a pretty big downside to me.
Yeah. I think players are underrating the downside with this card. I mean, I guess if there's certain scenarios where the downside doesn't matter, but like the downside does matter a lot sometimes. Anyways, I mean, it's a good return to form. I'll give it 5 chili peppers because I want to see it perform. Okay, moving on. Epid, or no, wait, Neon. Neon is on Madness Burn. This is certainly something. For Civilization's cost is a choice, I have to say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty good card if you can discard it and you're against a deck that has a bunch of non-basics, but sometimes it's just dead, and like you have 4 copies of it in the main board. So if you run up against mono black control, or no, mono black mid range has a bunch of has some number of non-basics. Okay, but like if you run up against, it's still pretty. Yeah, it's mono black doesn't have that many non-basics. Like if you run up against mono black, this card's not good, and you have 4 copies of it in your deck. So I guess the main combo here is that you're trying to use Distant Thunder to get the mass off Fire Temper. If you can get that combo off, then you're really happy. Otherwise, those 2 cards suck in this deck.
Distant Thunder can also discard Civilization's cost.
Yeah, sure, I guess. Maybe that's good. I don't know.
And there's also a Cinder Feather Phoenix.
I wonder how good Cinder Feather Phoenix is in this deck. I mean, I guess it's not that hard to get. Okay, so it's not that hard to get 4 cards into your graveyard, but in some games you just won't get the correct draw, and then that thing's going to be stuck in your graveyard, and you're going to be really sad. And burn decks don't really have the leniency to like, because it's not. Oh, I guess it's give the Phoenix to try to loot, but then now you're playing. Like you can't give turn 1 in this deck, right? You have to play out your 1-drop, but you have like 2 of. I mean, this deck can certainly take games, but I'm not really seeing it.
Yeah.
I suppose Gift the Phoenix. If you discard Madness card off Gift the Phoenix, it's technically card advantage. So it's technically 1 mana card advantage, or 1 mana draw 3 cards in your burn deck, which I guess it's usually decent. I guess. Wait, why is Mercury just in the sideboard? You're on burn. You should be playing Dissonance in the main board.
I don't know, but this is my first matchup, so I'm pretty happy that it's not on the main board.
I think it's still going to steal wins because it's burn deck, and sometimes burn just runs up people over, no matter how, because there's a floor to how badly burn can perform as long as you're playing enough 1 mana burn spells, right? Because sometimes you are just going to draw. Sometimes you are just going to run people over. And I think most of the points, most of the additional points that burn gets when it comes to burn deck building is being able to win games where you don't run over your opponent in the super early, and then your burn deck needs to still win even though your opponent is trying to stabilize. And maybe this deck gets there, but I'm not sure if it does. I'll give it 5 chili peppers for trying at least.
I usually give burn 1, but I'll give this one 2.
All right.
I forgot to
let me check if there's any comments.
I'll give it 3.
Oh, Neon. I guess Neon said something in chat, but it's not anything I need to respond to. So, I mean, I appreciate how you're trying really hard to make Distant Thunder work ever since you joined the format. When was the last time we made the libertarian burn joke? Because that I still have that clip on my channel. I'm pretty sure that was one of the best moments in Decklist stream commentary so far, and that was I don't know 3 years ago at this point. But yeah, I'm just going to reconnect real quick to make sure I don't. All right. So moving on, my deck, Temur Verdant Ramp. So basically, I realized that. So this was a deck that Dravos was on for the last few GPs. Or it has been on for some number of GPs. And Dravos actually performed really well last GP on it. And I saw some games and I realized that this deck is actually cracked. I was not that high on this build of ramp before because I felt like I had consistency problems, but with the addition of Kara Crane, how do you pronounce this?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Like Air Cran?
yeah, with the addition of Kara Crane, like that actually adds that solves a lot of problems with the deck because now you have a win con that just wins from the you have a land that wins the game on its own.
Yeah, that one's scary.
So basically, once you have
It's pretty low cost.
like very low opportunity cost to stick a copy of this into your deck. And this is a deck that can get to 10 lands reasonably often. So the main engine here is that you're trying to get a card that lets you get extra land plays. So it's either Pellweaver Alexa or Drubagia. Both of them give you extra land plays. And then you're trying to combine it with a card that gives you access to extra lands that you can't play. So the primary one is Verdant Sanctuary, which lets you play basic lands from outside the game. And you're playing 6 basics in your sideboard. But you're also playing 2 copies of Field Tender, which lets you play lands from your graveyard. So if you're playing fetch lands, that means you basically have constant access to extra lands that you can play. And also one of the new cards in this in the newest set, Kremheld of one. Is that how you pronounce it?
I don't know.
Well, anyways, it's
Crimehild?
it's also it's another thing that lets you play lands from graveyard. So you basically have 7 copies of things that you play lands from zones that you normally wouldn't be able to play lands from, which gives you access to extra land plays. And with that, like if you can get one of these things that give you extra land plays plus a thing that gives you extra access to lands, you go up in lands really quickly. Like what? If you go turn 2 Verdant Sanctuary and then turn 3 Drubagia, and then it sticks for like 1 turn, you're already up to 6 lands and you're tapping with 7 lands. And Drubagia has so Drubagia has Transcend, and its final ability just basically wins the game for you on its own. And this deck's main game plan is to basically turbo out a bunch of lands and then try to stick a Drubagia and threaten to ult it, and if you ult it, then you just instantly win. Alternatively, you can just get to 10 lands with Kara Crane, and then that thing also just wins the game on its own. So yeah, the reason this deck's good right now is because you have a bunch of cards that, if you have enough land in play, it just instantly wins the game on its own. And you also have a bunch of and the cards that let you, and you have a decently consistent way of turboing out a bunch of lands, and cards that let you turbo out lands are also just good on their own. Like Drubagia is also removable. I mean, Drubagia is like really the best card in this deck, I think, because it's a decently sized creature, which means you can stifle early aggression. It deals damage, so it's removal, it's ramp, and it's a 1 card win con. And I'm pretty sure people are talking about nerfing this card, so I suspect that this deck probably will get nerfed after this GP. So hopefully I get a good performance with it. But yeah, also the other big addition is Earthly Divination.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this card it's a rampant growth, but if you have enough devotion, it randomly just flips a 3-drop into play for 2 mana.
Yeah.
This card improves this deck by a lot, almost like it's intentionally designed to do so or something, huh? Yeah, I wonder why the person who made this card designed it like this.
I don't know.
Honestly, this deck.
I guess to Zuba's getting nerfed or something.
So it's like how Spiraling Hatred got Villainy banned. I see. Yeah. But yeah, Earthly Divination, I don't think this is actually the best deck for this card, but it is a very nice pickup for the deck. It adds a decent amount of consistency to it. And
I notice you're not running that the Investigate card.
oh yeah, right. We'll talk about once we get to Dravos' deck, because they're still on the older version of the deck. But yeah, like after playing League for a bit, I realized that the strongest part of this deck is that you can just insta win with Drubaji and you can insta win with Karakran. So I cut a bunch of cards from the deck. I cut out all the cards from the deck that I felt like were pulling it in directions that it didn't need to be pulled in, and I just doubled down on focusing on the main game plan. So I'm running 4 Drubaji, I'm running 2 copies of Karakran in order to increase the chances of me seeing it in the game. Because I think going from 1 copy to 2 copy, I don't think it doubles the chances of you seeing it, but it definitely does something close to that, right? I'm not sure how the math works out.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And I realized that Karakran is like a card you basically want to see or you want to see at least 1 copy of it most games. But yeah. So I talked a bunch. I'll give 5 Pilly Peppers because I'm looking at myself play, but how much do you like ramp decks?
I've seen this stuff a lot.
How much
I
would
think
like?
I'll go with 2. So.
What, you don't like ramp decks that can win a game on that just goes instantly or wins the game from 0 board state?
No, I do not.
Well, you don't like me like okay in League I had a game where I untapped on 6 lands, and then I went to my combat step with 10 lands and killed them with Karakran because I had like I found a way to get 4 lands onto the field on that turn and still have enough mana left over to use Karakran. So yeah, winning the game from 0 board state, something that this deck can do. Anyways, moving on. Caillou is on a black white mid range featuring Auric Soulweaver.
Yes.
Because since Finley got banned, Auric Soulweaver is the new boogeyman.
Oh, I don't know.
It's actually just a mono black deck that's splashing white for Pithbolt and fight for succession. It's also running, so it's it runs 8 removal spells, which I guess makes it have more removal than the mono black builds, I feel like. And it's running some number of discards. It's running pay up. So like it's running classic pay up instead of the new fangled under pressure, which I think is better for this deck. Because if you're playing a deck that wants to discard the opponent a bunch, I don't think you want to give your opponent omens, because that lets them.
Yeah.
It basically gives them 2 chances to top deck into something later down the line. Okay, right. It's also running Valdez, so it has 8 1-mana discard spells, running the classic mono black discard package. Find happiness to draw cards. It's running a bunch of card draw too. Okay, so it's just like discard, card draw, removal of Auric Soulweaver, an interesting creature base to win the game with, and then I guess some. Oh, it's running a double white card in the sideboard. I guess it's running a Queen's Duty to, I guess, wipe small boards, because that could be something that this deck's weak against.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think there's actually anything that interesting to say about this deck, because it's just a very solid mid-range deck. Is it mid-range or is it control?
I I think I'd consider it mid-range.
It's like we called Mono Black Villainy a control deck, right? And this is pretty much about Mono Black Villainy, but without Villainy because Villainy got banned.
Hey, I feel like the creatures are kind of more mid-rangey.
Okay, I guess if it's just running Performer, then I guess it counts as mid-range.
Yeah.
Because Mono Black Villainy also ran Auric Soul Weavers, and we counted that as control. Whatever. Yeah, 5 Pillar Peppers because it is a new deck, I guess. Yeah, sure.
I think I'll go with 4.
Okay, moving on. Crush Castle is running goblins. I didn't even know there was this many goblins in the format, and I do not know what payoff they're like using. Okay, so is Alanian Warcaller the best goblin payoff we have access to in the format? Because like it's a 3-mana 1/2 that doesn't even give a Lord buff. It only gives +1/+0 in Menace. I guess Menace is pretty good, but
there's like Raging Warlord, which also doesn't give a very good buff.
what? Raging Warlord. Actually, no, it's not that bad of a buff. Oh no, it's a 2-mana 1/1. Yeah, that's not very good. Well, you have fodder goblins. You have like 8 copies.
Raid Leader seems pretty good.
What is Raid? Which one?
Raid Leader, but I don't think that makes up for it.
Is it running that? Oh, Goblin Raid Leader. When attacks, I guess it's repeatable. Yeah, it's repeatable. Like, no, it's other goblins. I mean, okay, so it is a 2-drop that attacks and make a guy. Like, that's not that bad stat wise.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But you have to attack with it, so I feel like this deck can actually run over. Like, if your opponent doesn't have any interaction or play to the board, this could just run people over. But if they have like anything that's good against creature decks, then I don't think creature's good enough.
Don't have interaction and don't play to the board.
My deck actually, like my deck's really weak. Yeah. My deck has a really weak early game.
But most decks do one of those.
You would think that most decks do one of those, but you'll be surprised. And also, like, sometimes decks just don't draw well, and then they just don't get their early game stuff, and then they just get run over. What scrolling numbers do? Yeah, so they have 8 copies of Krankos Command, which is something, I guess. They have 1-drops too, right? They have only a single 1-drop in your aggro. Single 1-drop in the aggro deck feels ambitious. Okay, it attacks to the 2/2. Yeah. That's not bad. Yeah, 1-mana attacks to the 2/2. That's not that bad. I think I'm actually like I'm not. Wait, Goblin Twinbane. Wait, never mind. They have 12 copies of Krankos Command in the deck. I mean, people keep printing.
Slog's Warholler is a better Krankos Command.
Slog's Warholler when it enters. Oh wait, yeah, it does. Wait, why do you have so many Krankos commands in the format? Yeah, I think this deck actually has something because we have so many Krankos commands. Like, yeah. I think that's actually that's actually reasonably consistent now. You can probably get out 2 goblins on turn 2, and then next turn you like buff them with Elanian Warcaller. So there are 2 ones with Menace, and if your opponent doesn't play out creature, I mean, even if your opponent plays out a single creature, then they can't block them, so you like whack them for 4. Yeah. And Raw Chaos Treader is. Raw Chaos. I guess that thing can like randomly swing for 4 out of nowhere if you have goblin buffs going. They're also playing a 4-drop. Kragnos, whenever goblin you control attacks, it deals 1 damage to a creature. So like this could just ping off your opponent's early board.
Yeah. That one seems pretty good.
So like if you Krankos commanded 2 times and then play this thing, you're swinging like you hit something before, you knock that thing, or like you split. This thing has haste, so you're splitting 5 damage over your opponent's creatures, and maybe that just wipes out their entire board, and then and then if your opponent doesn't interact after that, I think you just killed them.
Yeah.
Like, am I going insane, or is like, does this actually not look that bad?
I think it can win games.
It's okay. So look at the sideboard. What does Bomb Juggler do? Damage can't be prevented. Nobody plays damage prevention. It doesn't prevent life gain. I don't know why he discards here.
Yeah.
I guess you're just trying to win a bunch of coin flips with this thing.
You can beat King Mervin.
In
case anybody's still playing that.
Your Flame Whip is actually. I didn't realize that we had goblin board wipes or board wipes or goblin decks. But I'm pretty sure like 3 mana sorcery speed power cosms are just not playable in the format, even if you have.
Yeah, I think
even with the upside
have this sort of thing.
I mean, it doesn't wipe your own creature board, but like, is that really worth 3 mana to not wipe your own board of goblins with your power clouds? Because like you're probably outside that. Like you already have Kragnog. That thing is really good against small tokens, right? Like you just against opposing token decks, you just try to go wider than them. You don't need to board wipe them. Board wipes are for decks that can't go wider than the opposing token decks. Well, anyways, 5 chili peppers and move on. Okay, moving on. Hersey is on Mardu mid-range again. I do not think there's any card changes so far from last time. But yeah, this is just it's a Mardu mid-range deck with lots of solid creatures. It's playing Legion Angel, which is pretty cool. Legion Angel with 2 Legion Angels on the sideboard, so this thing fetches each other. Legion Eve, which is a Hersey special. It can come down for 3 if your opponent took damage, and then it sort of gives you card advantage every turn. It's running 4 copies of Pact of the Moon, which is, I mean, that's a really good card. Oh yeah, 4 main deck copies of Pact of the Moon will be really annoying for certain decks to deal with.
Yeah.
Pittsfield.
Yeah, I'm a bit scared of that card.
Do you even lose that hard to? Oh, I guess you do lose pretty hard to Pact of the Moon.
I mean, I don't lose hard to it, but I can lose hard to it, and it's exile your graveyard and make a 2/2. Both gives Hersey another threat and interacts with my stuff in most games.
Yeah, it's just the main deck grave hate that you really hate, right?
Yeah.
3 Fight for Succession, which is Fight for Succession is pretty good. Now that's 3 mana Vindicate plus, or I guess it's not Vindicate. It's like destroy target non-land permanent. What do you even call that? Maelstrom Pulse? No, that's sorcery speed. Anyways, Fight for Succession blows something up, and then for 5 mana, it creates something that will win the game eventually. So it ends up being a really strong removal plus control finisher. Flame's approach is also similar in that it kills something or it deals damage to face, and then comes back and kills something or deals damage to face and wins the game for you. And Learn Through Error triggers a bunch. Triggers way more than you would expect it to, because it triggers off each player losing life. So There's lots of times where players just randomly lose life. And it's running 4 Gross Night Shaper in the sideboard. I assume against control decks because its ability goes through counter spells. You can discard it. It can't get countered, and then you just make a 5/5, or you make a 4/4 that that just gives you value, I guess. Yeah. All right. 5 chili peppers, I guess. Yeah. Interesting enough deck. I'll give it 5 chili peppers. Moving on. Splash Cat is on Mukten control. So it's a control deck that plays 4 copies of Mukten Protectors. And I do have experience playing Mukten Protectors in 4-color Anagram back when that deck actually existed, before the key pieces got nerfed. And I can say that I can't confirm that Mukten Protectors is a card that just wins you the game if it ever sticks. Because it just makes tokens for you if you do literally anything. And the main thing I was using it for was that if you play a fetch land, this thing makes 2 tokens. And they are playing a decent number of fetch lands, it seems like. So like late enough, or I guess even just on turn 5, you can play this and then play a fetch and then immediately get 2 3/3s. And then if this doesn't get answered, then suddenly you're making even more stuff. Besides that, it's a pretty standard control deck with Recall Forgotten Aeons. It's a Recall Forgotten Aeons control deck. Oh, Lose Your Mind. Yeah, so Lose Your Mind is also nutso because it's 2-mana instant speed draw 2 a lot of the time. Although this deck isn't as heavy on the Xerox, so maybe it doesn't enable this thing super early, but it's still going to end up like, yeah, it's 2-mana draw 2, and then you can eventually flash it back to draw 2 more cards pretty cheaply too. Like, it's just really good. And otherwise, it's just removal, counter spells, removal that turns into a threat, get card draw, threat that, cheap thing that eventually wins the game. Yeah, it's a pretty standard control deck with win cons.
That Assessment of Virtue?
Assessment of Virtue it's an interesting card. I think it's probably. Yeah. Is there a special reason they're playing? They're playing 4 copies. I guess they are running it as their main removal. Yeah. So it does hit everything. So it's because Journey's End is also another popular white removal with drawback. But the problem is that it only hits creatures or planeswalkers, so you end up missing things. And then there's also Sacralize.
And there's that.
There's also there's also Sacralize, which only hits artifacts, creatures, or enchantments, which ends up missing planeswalkers. So Assessment of Virtue hits everything, but has a drawback that might be more impactful.
Yeah.
You don't play. Splash Cat doesn't play main board wipes, right? So maybe the other creatures will end up being a problem. When does Mukten Protectors make flyers? When you cast creatures, so you're not making flyers off this thing. I guess you're just hoping that flyers don't end up mattering too much, because you definitely can't remove them efficiently, or block them efficiently for that matter. Wait, no, Assessment of Virtue doesn't make flyers; it just makes 1/1s. Oh, I was mixing it up with L by experience. Okay, yeah, so Assessment of Virtue, the tokens get blocked by the Mukten Protector tokens or Embodied Soul, or I guess if it's late enough, then it's the Revelations. So yeah, I guess tokens might not end up mattering. And then it's running a bunch of legendary lands. Got Araltha, got Marigate, got Harv Zadina. And the sideboard's playing. Oh, in the sideboard plays Gate of Realms and Monument. So I guess you can also board into some sort of Gator Brown's Harvardina sort of deck. Oh, stand everlasting. Interesting. It's Grave Hate plus Enchantment plus Slight. Yeah, I guess it does hit a bunch of stuff for a sideboard slot. Okay, enough talking. Let's just get 5 Chili Peppers and move on.
Yeah.
Pipsqueak is on the exact same deck, so give 5 Chili Peppers and move on. Gateway is on the same deck as Caillou, right? The exact same list, so we can just give 5 Chili Peppers and move on. Zhang is playing Abs and Ninjas. Where is the ninja? Okay, seriously, where's the ninja? Oh. There's no ninjas in this deck.
Why would there be ninjas though?
Because Zhang said that this is Abs and Ninjas list, and I don't see the ninjas. I see the monument, but I don't see the ninjas.
I don't think ninjas runs ninjas anymore, I guess.
Ninja-less ninja? I guess it's like Affinity Modern where they no longer run Affinity cards.
Yeah, that's my understanding of it. What even were the ninjas?
They were running Shinrei and like something else, right? Shinrei.
Yeah. There's like, what was it, the 2-mana 2/3 Demir card, I think.
And Suzumi?
Yeah, I think that was it.
I forgot what Suzume, yeah. But since this deck isn't in blue anymore, you just don't run those. So like.
Oh, there's no blue.
So instead of those guys, you're just playing. You're just playing a bunch of good 2-drops, or you're playing a bunch of good 2-drops that are good with Profane Emissary and good with Monument. And you're also playing Ink Summoner because so that you can take advantage of the life loss part of Profane Emissary. Wait, has people run Profane Emissary plus Ink Summoner in the same deck before?
Maybe. One other thing is Hayat and Herald of Oblivion have synergy.
What does that do? When it enters target land, becomes a. Oh yeah, I guess it can turn a land into 14/14 flyer and then kill people. And since you have Monument, you can do it like you can flash this thing in, or you can flash high at end of turn. Your opponent doesn't expect it. Yeah, that seems pretty solid. Sanguine Chevalier draws you cards. You lose life somewhat reliably, I think. And then you just Foresight of Silence which basically acts as removal. Mag Revoltory is good. What are you fetching with Profane Emissary again? Are you just fetching Jejune with Profane Emissary?
Just Polyp Pools.
Yeah, you are just fetching Jejune or Polyp Pools. Like, you can't actually reliably lose life off this, right? Once you fetch Jejune, like, you lose 6. I guess you get your really good Ink Summon trigger. And then Herald of Oblivion's like sitting at. Well, you get knocked down to something like 9, and this thing's sitting at 5/5, which is actually not that bad for 2 mana. Yeah, I think I'm seeing it. Sideboard wise, a bunch of 2-drops a bunch of 2-drop hate bears and 4 Titan Snares for some reason. What does Titan Snare even hit in this meta? I guess it does hit your deck, right? You have like those in Spirit guys. Does it actually hit ramp?
It does not hit my Inspirit guys. Those are 4 mana.
Oh wait, those are 4 mana? Okay. It hits your...
I don't remember how it works with Culminating Chaos. Is that just always 3 mana?
Yeah, that's always 3 mana.
Yeah.
It probably hits something.
Yeah, I don't think it hits anything.
Probably hits something, or probably...
it hits my wished for Ollie's counsel in case I ever wish for that.
Cool. Cool. Okay, I guess that's probably not going to do anything this GP then. But yeah, 5 chili peppers. I mean, it is a very original take on ninjas, and also I like the I like the combos that they put in with Hayat. I mean, Hayat can actually just turn any land into any 2-drops, so there could just you could just have some random 2-drops in the guard, and then you just Hayat to turn a land into it, and then. Oh wait, Hayat can turn your lands into monuments in case your opponent blows up monument or you mill them. I mean, like, it's 4 mana, but Hayat does look very good in this deck. Even if although it takes a while for this thing to get online, but you could just use it every single turn too. And then, like, if you're just turning your lands into Profane Emissaries, or wait, what happens if you turn Polyp Pools into a Profane Emissary? Does it keep the type? How does Hayat work? How do the layers work again?
Oh,
Or
no.
Hayat target land becomes
I think it does not stay a demon.
Copy. I think copy. Yeah, copy goes before type. So it will just not. It won't maintain any types. Yeah. Hayat turning one of your lands into Magri Volturi, and then using the Magri Volturi to bring back a bunch of things. I mean, that's a classic thing that you like to do with Magri Volturi. Alright, I've talked too much. Let's move on. Hitster is on. Oh, this deck. Yeah. They're on a Glutton of Java deck. Yeah, this is a really cool deck. So they're basically on blue green. What do you call it? Blue green, like blue green sack, blue green sketches. Yeah, or no, not blue green, black green sketches. So it's a deck that runs Wormwood and Wildlife sketches. I think this deck was saw some play, but basically, Wormwood synergizes really nicely with Wildlife sketches because it's a 1 mana thing that you don't mind sacking. But if you don't sack it, then you can also just pay mana into it to make it do stuff. And yeah, you're also running Yomo Wong, which is really good with Wildlife sketches. Like the original black green sketches deck just played Yomo Wong and made really good use of it. And it's running 4 Ramsey. It doesn't run as much early ramp as I would expect it to. I guess it's some of those slots are taken up by Wildlife sketches. But basically, you're hoping to either turn on Wildlife sketches, or you're hoping to ramp into one of your 3-drops. You're trying to ramp into either Wormwood or Yomo Wong turn 2, and nuke your opponent's 1-drop with it. And it's really good when you do so. And then with Wildlife sketches, you can also sack your own things to get. So it's playing a bunch of 1 of tutor targets for the Wildlife sketches. Obsessive Visual is a pretty good target because, like, this thing's surprisingly annoying to deal with. And also, it's playing good Glutton of Zava, which does want to be sacked, and also gets you a bunch of mana when you do so. So that's a pretty good thing to. It's running Crypt of Myriad Fates. The Crypt of Myriad Fates is a really cool card. It's not playing it.
Yeah, I like that one.
It's not playing an Analyst deck, which with Crypt of Myriad Fates plus Glutton of Java is a combo. It's a pretty cool combo. You can just keep looping these guys and then get a bunch of lands back every time, and then with all these extra lands, you have. And unlike the Analyst deck from last time, this deck can actually do stuff besides just trying to go for the Glutton of Zava combo. And it's also running 4 copies of Earthly Divination, which is pretty good in this deck because it either ramps you or it grabs one of these guys. And it's not that hard to build up Devotion with Wildlife Sketches in play and stuff. I think this deck probably makes
really good here.
Yeah, it probably makes better use of Earthly Divination than my deck does. Have I? Am I even making sense at this point when I'm talking? Oh wait,
Yeah.
okay, it has one copy of Mirror in the sideboard, probably because they saw what the Crane deck does, or because I placed my deck in League and I wrecked them with the Crane. At Chet Aton, Living God. What does this guy do? 5 mana. If your life total is less than 5, it locks your life total at 5. Interesting. I guess this is actually good against Burn because Burn needs to waste 2 burn spells to kill this thing. And if they do so, then you just bring this guy back.
Or I guess like any deck that doesn't really have removal.
Yeah, I guess that's also the case. Yeah. All right, I'll give it 5 chili peppers because I faced the second league and I really liked how it played.
Yeah, I think I'll give it 5 as well. It seems really cool.
Actually, when I played the second league, I felt like Hitster did not make the best use of their wildlife sketches. But maybe it's either it's because they're on an earlier version that didn't have tutor targets all the way up to chain, or they just got better at playing this deck after seeing it in action once. All right, moving on. Leo Blank is playing Black Red Discard, right? Is that what you're calling it? Black Red Pitchpire? Well, I mean, it's Pitchpire, but Pitchpire has been nerfed pretty hard, so you can't really base the entire deck around it anymore.
Yeah, it only runs 2 copies now.
So what? Oh, I think it's Black Red Discard. Yeah, it's playing things that come back when you discard it. It's playing when this creature enters. If you made what is premonition? You made interesting card. Wait, where did this card get printed? Is this card new? Yeah, it is new. Huh.
Which one?
Cultist Sorcerer. So you have a bunch of guys that let you loot or lets you rummage when they enter, and then you're trying to rummage away Shikai Revenant or Krypnar, which then triggers Olivia Voldaren, which is, I guess, a reasonable thing to happen. Yeah, Bone Scourge Kazarek is actually really good. Right? You can activate it from the graveyard by sacrificing a creature. So if you just for 2 mana and sacrificing a creature, you can give them your guys +2/+1 and a bunch of keywords all from the graveyard. And some decks just can't deal with a guy that's suited up with the backside of this guy. Because like that is a lot of stats. And flying.
Yeah.
What does Sophia do again? Is it? Oh yeah, it's the first Sophia. And Ferocious Flame gets triggered by. It's running Asking Imp too, which is interesting. The girl who wouldn't die. So I guess you can also discard stuff to reanimate with this thing. I mean, it definitely has lots of things it can do. I'm not sure if it's actually good because I mean the deck probably functions, but I'm not sure if it's ideal because I don't feel like it comes together. I don't think it's consistent enough. Sometimes you will just not draw into the pieces, and then all you have are a bunch of things that damage on ETB, which I guess is still fine. I'll give it 5 chili peppers and move on.
Yeah. Oh. Next, Boosty.
Toast is on the same deck as last time, which is 4 colored stuff. Actually, no, it's 5 color. It's 5 color parrot pools with like reanimation stuff. Shredded memory. Oh, actually, they didn't fix the loophole with flashback and shredded memory, right? So if you flashback shredded memory with King Dancer, shredded memory will exile itself to Lucid, and then that means King Dancer's exile won't happen, so you can just keep reusing shredded memory off King Dancer, which I guess is cool.
Oh, yeah.
But otherwise, like you're trying to get stuff. You're trying to get parrot pools into play, and you have all these cards that either bounce stuff or blink stuff or get stuff from graveyard, and you have endless helpless cells plus some looting spells to get those things into the graveyard. So you also have Hemley that you have a Hemley that you can constantly get back, which is really annoying to deal with. Hemley has been nerfed. Actually, I'm pretty sure this deck is what caused Hemley to get nerfed, because having your thing constantly get -2'd by Hemley is really annoying.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You can also reanimate Deadwood Terror, which turns into 3 2/2s. So like, yeah, I don't think I'm describing very well how this deck functions, but like, just imagine that your opponent just imagine that you're trying to stick parrot pools on turn 2, and the rest of the deck follows mostly. If you don't stick parrot pools on turn 2, you're just like, you're digging for parrot pools on turn 2, or I guess you can try to reanimate Deadwood Terror on turn 2. That also works. Again, I don't think I'm making sense anymore. Let's give it 5 chili peppers and move on.
Yeah.
Also, I'm pretty sure.
Petra.
Let me reconnect real quick. Okay, Dravos is the last person. Cool. Okay, so Dravos is also on Verdant Ramp, but they're on the earlier version. That was still running Elizabeth.
She really likes that card, right?
Yeah, Dravos really likes Elizabeth. So what happened with the deck was that after I saw how well Dravos performed in the GP with the deck, I just took the deck and then stuck in 4 copies of Earthly Divination and just cut some cards I didn't feel like were that good. Which I think Dravos was on 3 copies of Elizabeth before or something. Let me double check. So like last GP, did Dravos like make it really far or something? Did he not top cut? I swear they top gutted. Well, whatever. No, they were only on 2 copies of Elizabeth. Oh yeah, they were on Xenoflora Expert, which I definitely did not agree with. And they were on 2 Scratches Horsemen. Okay, yeah. And 2 Crimhounds too. Oh yeah, they were also Miss Hollow White. So basically, I cut Miss Hollow Rights because I felt like that card wasn't really needed. And then I cut Xenoflora Expert plus some other card. But basically, I found room for 4 Earthly Divinations, and I managed to 4-1 a league with this deck. And then that's the deck that Dravos picked up, and this version still has Elizabeth in it. I did further testing in league and eventually cut Elizabeth because I felt like it wasn't really conducive towards the win conditions that this deck was aiming for, but Dravos did manage to pick up a version that has Earthly Divination and also has Elizabeth, so I'm pretty sure they're happy with it. And I'm like, this deck is very powerful, so maybe they also perform super well with it. And yeah, I'll give it 5 purely purpose because it very much is also a deck that I'm repping really hard.
I think I'll go with 2. Only one Caracrayon in this version.
I mean, actually, going to 2 copies of Caracrayon was a last minute addition for me because I realized how broken Caracrayon was after I won a bunch of games with it from 0 board state.
Why is this not legendary? It has a legendary sounding name.
And most lands aren't legendary. And there isn't really a reason for this to be legendary, right? It's like it's just a land.
Yeah, I guess.
Also, like, the activate ability on this guy is actually surprisingly relevant, which was actually one of the other reasons why I went up to 2 copies. Because sometimes
that looks good.
Because sometimes when you're playing this deck, you just end up with nothing to spend your mana on, and sometimes activating this is actually ends up being a pretty good mana sink. Because it does, like, it gets lands out of your deck, and if you don't have Verdant Sanctuary out, or if you have one out but you already spent all the lands, then it does get you extra lands to hand to make sure you don't miss your land drops. And like, if you're hitting land drops every turn, then that means that Caracrayon is getting ever closer to being activated. Yeah. So that was all the decks. I don't know if we're even I don't know if I'm even making sense at this point. Like, I am talking pretty tired or whatever.
Yeah, same.
Is there anything else you want to say? Other than people are complaining about certain cards in the ramp deck being too uninteractive.
I think that makes sense.
Actually, the ramp deck has no ways to blow up opposing mirror gates. So, like, if opponent plays mirror gate naming Caracrayon, this deck, or no, this deck has to try to Reclamation Growth Scalper that mirror gate, which I guess it can do. It's only running a single copy because I only got down to a single copy of that card because like, you don't actually have that much sideboard space to work with when you have to eat up 6 sideboard slots for basic lands. Yeah, well, yeah. Anyways, so that was the Decklist stream. Yay. I got it buy in round 1, so that's good, I guess. Yeah.
Nice.
You didn't get a buy in game 1, so you actually have to play game 1. And yeah, I guess I'll end the stream now.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah. Bye.